Hello everybody and welcome back to another day of yoga with Miss Shauna. I am Shauna and it is Valentine's Day, Valentine's week depending on the day that you're doing this, which is Valentine's Day, the time to share love. And sometimes you just gotta love yourself, which means you're coming down onto your mat and you're doing some yoga. It's also been very, very cold, at least where I am. It's been very, very cold. And I realized Valentine's Day during a pandemic when it's freezing, sometimes you just gotta flow with it. So that's what today's practice is all about. Just kind of flowing with it, going with the flow, treating your body to some nice, purposeful movement, recentering, showing yourself some love, and then we can go and celebrate our Valentine's Day and survive the cold. So let's just start. If you're not already seated on your mat, let's start seated on the mat, sitting nice and tall, engaging your core. If you want to close your eyes, you can. Just a few deep breaths. Really centering yourself in those breaths. Preparing yourself for your practice. Taking a second to check in with yourself. Maybe you have a mantra you want to follow. About self-love, or being okay, making it through the cold, making it through darker days. We got this. So check in with yourself. If your eyes are closed, you can open them back up to the room. We're just going to take the right arm, planting it onto the ground, bringing the left arm up and over, elongating through that core. Again, still breathing really deeply. And switching yourself over to the other side. Keeping that breathing going, connecting to the breath. Our breath is one of the most important parts of our movement. Releasing that side bend, and then just bringing your hands down in front of you, just gently folding downward through the center. And bringing yourself up, checking in a few wiggles of the shoulders, giving the hands a little bit of movement, just feeling the body. We're going to head over onto our hands and knees for tabletop. Just making sure you're rooting into those hands in tabletop. Shoulders in line all the way down to the wrist. From your tabletop position, you're going to take your right leg and your left arm. We're going to reach them out and in. It's like a crunch, right? Like a bird dog type crunch, or a balancing table with a crunch. Now, if we're working on just leg only, just do leg, or we can just do arm back and forth, or you can do both together, following that breath. Exhaling when you come in, inhaling as you open out. Engaging your core. And bringing yourself back to your tabletop. Sinking yourself back into child's pose for a little rest. All of these poses will flow through a little more quickly today so we can warm up the body and really just flow with it. From your child's pose, coming back up to that tabletop, and we're going to go back onto the other side now to make sure we balance out our body with those crunches. Again, modifying how you need to. Following your breath, in and out. Bringing yourself back to your tabletop. And again, sinking back into those hips for another child's pose. Coming out of your child's pose, back to tabletop, we're going to tuck the toes under, shoot the hips right up to down dog. Opening in those shoulders, making that nice peak. Now from your down dog, you can stay in down dog if there's lots of tension in the hamstrings or if that's just where you want to stay today. Otherwise, you can lift your right leg up for three-legged dog. If your leg is up, bringing it down to meet the other foot. Hinging yourself a little bit forward, tucking those knees back down and sinking back into your child's pose. Again, coming back into your tabletop. We're going to head up into down dog. This time we're going to do the other leg up for three-legged dog. If you're going up into three-legged dog, otherwise just stay in your nice down dog. So tucking those toes under. Push those hips right up. Bringing the left leg up this time for three-legged dog. Rooting in through those hands and feet. And again, if the leg is up, bringing it down to meet the other foot, leaning yourself a little bit forward, bending into the knees, and sinking back into child's pose. And from that child's pose, bringing yourself up through tabletop, you bring that right leg forward into a nice low lunge. If you need any supports, make sure you're pausing the video to get them. Just letting yourself ease into that low lunge. Feeling openness starting, lengthening up the muscles. From here, you're going to plant your left hand on the ground. We're just going to twist up the sky. Aiming those fingertips to the ceiling. If you're able to, bringing your gaze up to the ceiling as well, following that hand. Connecting to the breath. Gently releasing that twist down, taking that right leg, scooching it back, sinking back into child's pose. There's lots of child's poses today, my friends. Releasing out of your child's pose. This time we're going to bring the left leg forward for low lunge. Again, using any supports you might need. Gently easing and sinking into that low lunge, not forcing anything. From your low lunge, planting your right hand on the ground. We're going to twist up to the ceiling. Left hand reaching high. Gaze up to the sky if you're able to. And gently releasing that twist. Hands back on the ground, taking that left leg, scooching it back to meet the other one, and again sinking back into your child's pose. From your child's pose, one more time, back up to tabletop. We're going to bring ourselves up to one last down dog. So tucking those toes, undershooting your hips up to the sky. Taking a second to check in. Is it loosening up in those hamstrings? Are we feeling sturdier? We're just flowing with it. So take a second to check in, connect with yourself. And again, tucking those knees down, bringing yourself right back down through tabletop. Bring us over to seated on our mat. So on our mat, I'm going to stay lengthwise actually. Just why not? We're just going to sit nice and tall. And as we're sitting nice and tall, I just want you to kind of take a few deep breaths, connect to how you're feeling. Those are some heat building. I got very warm doing those poses, which is wonderful, right? It's been so cold, so we want to flow through, warm our body up. From this nice seated position, bringing your right leg, bending it up, sitting tall, you're going to bring both arms up to the sky, twisting towards your right leg, bringing the arm behind you, right arm behind you, left arm comes on top of your knee, or if you're twisting further, it can pass. We just want to be yanking our body, that's not the goal. It's a nice, easy, gentle twist, fingertips facing the sky, sitting tall. If you want to add to that seated twist, looking over your back shoulder. Engaging still in that core, so keeping that spine nice and long. Continuing with that breath. Now if your head is twisted over your back shoulder, starting from your head, gently releasing that twist. So head comes in, the body, torso follows. Bringing yourself back to the center, switching out your legs. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. So arms come up to the sky. We're twisting towards the left. Left arm comes behind you. Right arm comes by the knee. Fingertips up to the sky. Twisting additionally if you need to through that head. Looking over the back shoulder. Spine nice and long. And if the head is twisted, leading with that head to unwind the twist, unwinding the body, bringing it back to neutral, legs coming out to meet each other. We're going to bring ourselves onto the ground, onto our back. So you can just adjust yourselves, bring yourself right back down. Taking a second on the ground. We're going to do some hip bridges. So rooting yourselves into the feet. We're going to roll those hips up one vertebrae at a time. And then we're going to roll it down, following one vertebrae at a time. So it should be like a wave in the ocean. One vertebrae at a time. Following your own breath with a little pause at the top, squeezing the glutes, and then bringing it down, finding a rest for a second. So bring it up, rolling it up again, squeezing the glutes, engaging the core, all those little muscles, pausing at the top, rolling it back down, and continuing that pattern for a few more breath cycles. One more. Following that breath in and out. Rolling one vertebrae at a time. When you get back down onto your mat in neutral, just going to bring those knees in for a gentle knee hug for a rest. releasing those knees, bringing your feet right back onto the floor. Recline bound ankles. We're going to let those knees sway out to the side. Soles of our feet coming together. Relaxing. Breathing deeply. Bringing those knees gently back together. Working your way down into a nice reclined position for Shavasana. So getting yourself all settled in, finding where you're the most comfortable. Again, connecting to your breath. If you had a mantra that you were saying to yourself at the start of practice, check in with that to wrap up today's practice. Bringing movement to your fingers, toes, arms, legs, opening your eyes up, and bringing yourself back up to a nice seated position on your mat. Sometimes you just gotta flow with it, my friends. You just have to flow with it. And when you do, it'll warm up your body, it'll help you recenter, you'll connect to your breath, and everything will just start to fall back into place. Thank you so much for joining me on your mat today. Let's wrap up today with bringing your hands to prayer at our heart center, taking 3 deep breaths in and out, in and out. Last time, in and out. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.